Hi, good morning, and welcome to the ZP vlog and podcast. We like to do this every Sunday at 8 a.m. London time, and it's really a wrap up from the news from ZP for this week. So, one of the things that we were asked this week is a slightly unusual question, but we were asked, what are the capabilities within ZP? So, it's a sort of an interesting question because you have to kind of reflect upon yourself, because you generally know, or your business, let's say, you generally know that, your capabilities, um, are around biosensing, but actually it was a broader question, which is outside of biosensing, what is it you guys are sort of, capable of doing? So what I've done is put together um, a bit of a list around this topic. And so, internally, what do we do at ZP? We do electromechanical engineering, we do electronic engineering, we do data science rather. We have analysts, we have marketeers, we have administrators, we have biologists, we have chemists and material scientists, we have programmers, we have database engineers, we have quality engineers, we have intellectual property engineers, we have project management and program um, managers. And I realize I've actually left one off the end as well, off this as well, which is production engineers. Now, the reason we have all this capability is really because when you offer a kind of a solution which is from idea all the way to production, and that production is also involving um, working within a quality system, then you end up with a sort of lot of capabilities. So we were asked what's the capability of the business, and then I think, as I say, there's an awful lot of capability um, in the business as well. Um, so I'm just going to go quickly to the next point, which was we were asked as well recently. This is easiest in the UK and Norway, but we also do it in other countries as well. We were asked to embed some engineers on site with a client, and so that is something that we also do as well. I just want to say hello to Saran this morning. Saran, lovely to see you again. So yes, we do take our scientists and engineers, and we are capable of, rather, we are able to embed those engineers um, on site with people as well. So that is something that we're also able to do at ZP as well. Um, there's an awful lot this week. We've been very active. Some of this material is just reflecting upon ourselves. Some of it's reflecting upon what we're actually doing. But there was a really good, at ZP, we like to do videos. Videos are a really sort of useful way of getting the point across pretty quick and clearly. Um, and at Zimmer and Peacock, so far I've talked about capabilities this week. I've talked about, that we actually embed engineers on site. But we also have the capability of doing database science, and we also have our own products called Julie. And Julie is a cloud database where we're able to send data, store data, process data. We're able to pass data on to other people using an API, an application program interface. And Julie does have a host of microservices as well. And these microservices can be accessed through Julie, and they allow people to do little functions. And the function that we were showing this week in a video was the ability to take data from other vendors. For example, PalmSense. They have a file format called PS Session, and we were able to upload it to our database and process it and turn it into an XLSX file or a CSV file or a text file. And so we did do a video online about how to do that. So we hope that is useful to people. So that was also it was a video that we put out there, and also a kind of, a reflection on the Julie database. Something that did come out as well this week really was some of our clients want us to kind of get involved in their brand building and their marketing strategy and the implementation of that. So, we are very focused on biosensing, but we're obviously, quite good at the other aspects of business as well. And one of those aspects is, when you're building brands and you're trying to market your materials. So we were also um, approached about that, and that is something that we do make available as a service as well. Now, every Thursday at 8 a.m. London time, we do a webinar around questions that have come in from the week from people asking about things like pH and measuring lactate, for example. So this week we did our webinar as per normal, and we had a whole list of questions, and we went through those questions in order and answer those questions. So if you have any technical questions to Zimmer and Peacock, then you'll find that we generally answer those questions every week in the ZP Developer Zone webinar. Now, something else that happened this week as well is NITI in the UK went to a UK Sensor Network workshop where it's a sort of it's funded by the EPSRC, which is a funding body in the UK, and NITI went along there and represented Zimmer and Peacock, and it's a mix between us and academics. So that was also something that we had done this week. We also, as part of, and I've mentioned it already, but as part of the how do I say it? As part of the lactate, part of our developer zone this week, we also did measuring lactate in sweat was also part of what we talked about. So we did talk about how to measure lactate in sweat, our own work on measuring lactate in sweat, and also the results that we've had. So we hope that is useful to people. But yes, we did speak about measuring lactate in sweat this week. It's been a really intense week. I just want to say good morning to Aftab. Nice to see you this morning, Aftab. It's been a bit of an intense week because we were also in California. There's a big center for wearable technologies in California at UCSD, headed by Professor Joseph Wang. I've known Joseph for years, and myself, Yusuf, and Andre were in California that week. It was really good. We were well received, and we participated in their Sensor Summit. Now, some other news from Zimmer and Peacock for this week is we also had our wearables biosensor workshop and electrochemical IVD workshop. I didn't, but if you go to our website, there's a lot of images coming from that workshop, and it went really well. So, it's an intense day because obviously you're talking for something like 7 hours. But we held a workshop on the fabrication and testing of electrochemical biosensors. We covered amperometry and voltammetry and potentiometry and also impedance spectroscopy. Everyone got to make their own sensor, and everyone got to test their own sensor as well. So that it was a pretty intense day, but a lot of people went away very happy because they, able to make their own, essentially their own sensors. And as because of that, we were also asked, well, can you guys organize events as well? And it's true, yes, of course we can, because we organize a lot of events, and so we also then, through our ZP Consulting brand, we're also then able to offer events organizing as well. Now, I will skip over a few of the other things this week, but we have some really good product design engineers at ZP as well, and therefore we've been recently developing some handheld devices for doing one or more analytes. If you're following with a vlog, we're showing images of a handheld meter that takes a disposable that's about the size of a credit card, and so people can develop with us or use our sensors and use them in this multi-analyte reader. The multi-analyte reader that I'm showing um, on the page is actually able to probably take up to 6 sensors at a time. So it's truly a multi-analyte reader. So I think I've got everything covered for this week. So this week I've talked about Julie. Julie's our cloud database. It's able to sort of process data, and it's able to, if somebody's got a P sessions file, we're able to turn that into text, CSV, XLXX. We're also this week been talking about how we can sort of send engineers on site to actually help people. I mean, it's useful to send work to us and we do the work. It's useful to meet us online and get the consulting. But then when really people really have the budgets, then we are able to send people on site as well. We've also been to California this week, and as I say, we met with Professor Joseph Wang. For our more academic colleagues, they'll be very familiar with his papers. And we also held our own workshop in California as well. And of course, every Thursday at 8 a.m. London time, we did our webinar answering technical questions. So just for interest, a couple of us are flying out to Germany this evening. There's a big conference in Germany called Medica, and a couple of us will be attending that. It's about a 4-day conference, and so it's pretty intense. Pre-pandemic, there would be about 150,000 people attending Medica in any year. This year, I would be speculating. I mean, last year I think it was about a third of that. This year it'll probably be possibly somewhere between 50 and 150,000 people. But there's definitely a lot of people. It's depending on the country you're from, it can feel like a sort of a large town or a small city. But there's a lot of people do descend upon Medica, and we do have a stand there. We'll be in Hall 12, stand 12D33, and this is the wearable stand. So if you have any questions of ZP, please reach out to us, and if you have any technical questions of ZP, please reach out to us, and we will put them and we'll answer them in our weekly webinar. In the meantime, thank you very much for listening this week. Thanks very much to Saran and Aftab for coming along, and I will speak to some of you during the week, and I will definitely see lots of you on Thursday as part of our ZP Developer Zone webinar. Okay guys, take care. Thanks very much.